Hello everyone, welcome to Day 1 Disc Golf. My name is Tyler, and today we're going to recap my first tournament, and let's get into the video. So the tournament I entered was a local C-tier tournament. It was called Slinging Plastics at Pineview. It was held... I got a puppy in the background. It was called Slinging Plastics at Pineview. It was held in St. George, Utah, about 4 hours south from Salt Lake, from where I live. And how the tournament was laid out, it was going to be 2 rounds, 1 day. And Pineview was the course. And I went down the weekend before to get a quick round in, because I've only played that course 1 time. And while I was there, we got an email saying, hey, it had been changed to... Sorry, making sure work doesn't need me right now. It had been changed to Grandpa's Pond, and that's a video I've done. I've done a course preview on that video. It was not the same layout, and yeah. But I went down the weekend before to get a practice round in, and of course when they move it, they're not going to have all the baskets up. I figured, all right, cool. We'll just keep moving forward then. So I went down about the night before. It was held on a Saturday. It was held on February 20th of this year. I went down Thursday evening, called in sick to work to do Friday, to get a couple rounds in on Friday, and they still didn't have all the baskets put in. I played with 2 buddies who knew the course better than me. Thank you, Josh, and thank you, Taylor. I appreciate you both. And all the baskets were in yet, so that was kind of a bummer. But I did get to kind of see the course for what it was worth, the best I could. The day of the tournament, I woke up early. I did a normal kind of like routine, which was I woke up, had some water, ate some food real quick. I went to the gym because I cannot not go to the gym, because otherwise I'm in a grumpy mood all day. And I was already on edge because it's my first tournament, and you have so many thoughts in your head just going, oh no, what if I'm not good? You're just losing your mind. So I got to the course around 9-ish, and did some quick putts. Met the tournament. Well, I knew the tournament director from before, but met his wife, and really nice people. Keith, thanks for putting on one heck of a tournament. It was fun. But anyway, I got there around 9. Did a couple practice rounds. Got a quick couple putts in. And then the first round started around 9:30, and I started on hole like 14, I believe. I entered into MA2. First tournament. I didn't want to enter into the MA3 division because I figured I'd be okay with it. I did not think I was good enough for MA1, because judging by some of the other scores, I don't get negs very often. I usually end with pars or pluses. I'm trying to get into the negative stratosphere. I still am to this day. By that point in time, I was ending with like a +4, +5. And anyway, for 18 holes. So I have a couple notes right here, so I'm going to read them real quick. That's why I keep looking over here, so I remember to read these notes. I wrote this the day of, the day of the tournament, or the day after the tournament. I said, first round, woes. Like, whoa, that was bad. My putting. I second guessed my putting the whole time. I kept changing up what I was doing, and you guys are going to see some clips from the first round here in a minute. But my putting was not good, um, and I didn't know the course fully, meaning I there were a couple holes that I did not get a chance to play the day before because the baskets weren't up. And like there was hole, I believe 17, maybe 16. I don't remember off the top of my head what it was, but how it was set up. Sorry, I'll just kind of picture it for you. The tee pad was up here. Okay, it was just kind of right here, and the basket was well down here. So there was a drop off with some sagebrush in the middle and everything, and you couldn't necessarily see the pin. It was an island shot, so meaning you had to hit within the green. And there was a pole kind of jutting up from the right of the pin, and I had the box. So I was like, okay, well, if I aim for that pole should be in. And nobody checked it. Not a single person on my card did. So we all just were like, all right, well, here, let's just throw it. So I throw it, and I hit that, and I hit the pole perfectly. And well, that pole was about 2 feet out of bounds. My disc landed about 6 inches out of bounds. It cost me a stroke. In fact, it cost me 2 because I was not putting correctly. So I ended up getting a bogey on what should have been a birdie if I would have just known the course, even just a little bit better. Also, don't be afraid to, if you are second guessing something, don't be afraid to go check that out. Seriously, don't. It just go do it. It will save you in the long run. Trust me. And then the other woe was my nerves. My nerves were so high. You know, I was like, man, I've been playing for a year. Oh, it hasn't been a year yet. It will be a year. Oh, next month. I'm like, I should be okay, you know. But what if I'm not that good? What if I'm not like as good as I think I am? Or what if I'm, you know, what if I don't show up? What if I, you know, everything. Like, what if you know, you just start going into that mental negative emotion. And so my first hole, I actually parred it, and that kind of set the tone for the remainder of the round. So the first round positives, and I'm going to read this real quick. My upshot game was on point. I only used it twice because there were only a couple times when I knew I had to lay up for a 3, or you know, take a second shot to get a 3. But whenever I did, it was right up next to the basket. I was able to tap it in and get my par. And the other thing is, I knew my discs. I knew my back. So those were the first round positives. I was very, very happy that I took the time to get to know all 12 or 13 of my discs that I throw normally. And yeah, so the first round, bright, sunny, beautiful day, going out, freaking out in my own mind, you know, but just playing around, and it was fun, you know. Then comes the second round. Second round between night and day, okay? Second round, it was 25-mile-an-hour winds, and there was no break because St. George is a desert. It's fairly open. It is mountainous, but trust me, you're going to feel every mile-an-hour wind on that. I'll hurry up and get this done real quick. So my second round woes after lunch. I throw nose up on a lot of my discs. I'm still trying to get rid of that. By the way, if you have any tips on that, drop a comment below because I'm trying my hardest to get rid of that. But any nose up, it was just going wherever the wind was. And then, of course, my putting wasn't great because you go and putt, you release angle up, it goes everywhere, it goes wherever the wind's taking it. Second round positives, though. I know my strength. I come from an ultimate background. Trust me, I can angle discs on a pretty decent basis. You know, so I understand kind of how it works. Not terribly. I'm still trying to learn how to let the disc do its thing. But I knew my strength was overstable. So I threw overstable. I grabbed my Raptor. I grabbed whatever I had that was stable, and I just would huck that thing on a hyzer, and it would get there. And then the other thing would be is that my emotions were a lot calmer, and I have my first round card mates to thank for that. By the way, thank you. If you ever watch this, thank you. I appreciate it. One of the guys, it was his first tournament. He happened to be on my card twice. Another guy who was on my card twice. He had been playing for 10 years, and then we only had a change out of one other gentleman in my second round and in my first. And so he did. All of my card mates were really nice. They were very understanding. They didn't call me on any foot faults or anything, and I don't think I'd committed any. Overall, how was my score? Well, first round I ended with a +5. Second round I ended with a +6. So I took +11 for the 2 rounds, through 36 holes overall. And then in my division I took 7th out of 14th. I tied for 7th out of 14th. And overall I took 39th out of 78, I think, somewhere around there. So I think I took dead center in both. And I was proud of it, to be honest. You know, I did not think I was going to be that good anyway. But I know that I have a lot of game left to improve on and a lot more other things. I'm going to show you guys some clips here in a little bit. But I'm going to list 5 quick things that I'm going to recommend to everyone if it's your first tournament. And I'm no beacon of knowledge, but I at least have done it. I signed up for my second tournament coming up soon, so I'm excited to do an update on that. But first thing, do a morning routine. Get up, eat some breakfast, make sure you have water, have a chair, do whatever you need to do. You know, do what you need to do to consciously be ready for the day. Number 2, know the course. So I told you a negative experience about the pole incident. Well, let me tell you about the positive experience. Hole 4, maybe 5. It was an island shot, and it's roughly 205 feet, and it hasn't changed at all. It didn't change at all through my practice rounds. It was one of the few baskets that were there. The night before, I usually would grab a buzz, either forehanded or backhanded, and I just was not getting it to that spot for some reason, to the island green. So the night before, I grabbed my Mantis and my Valkyrie from Innova, and I hugged them, and they both landed on the green just fine. So I ended up doing that both rounds, and somehow, someway, I was the only one who landed both times on my card anyway, on that green, able to putt for a birdie, which I think I did birdie them both, but I'm not sure. Sorry. Okay, we're good. The second thing I learned was know your discs. Know how you throw, know your strengths, know your weaknesses. Be ready to adjust if need be. Third thing I learned was understand wind. So wind, I've never played in that high of wind before. It's very difficult. So I grabbed this disc just for the sake of this is the Punisher Leadstone, 2018. Yeah, I bought it from a random gentleman. But anyway, I found out that if you have a tailwind, so you're throwing this way, the wind's coming this way, you gotta huck this thing as hard as you can because the disc is just gonna drop. If you have a left to right wind, and that disc the bottom of that disc ends up captivating, it will be carried where you don't want it to go. However, if the front of the disc hits that wind, it's going to kind of ride that wave all the way through. And then a headwind, nose down every single time. Be ready to keep your nose down because no matter what, it's going to have to drop and carry forward. That's one. That's number 3 thing I learned. And then number 4 thing I learned was just have fun. Period. Like, yeah, it's okay to be competitive and, be ready to rock and roll it. It's another thing to be hard on yourself. And, I'm going to show you 2 putts. First putt will be when I missed. And you will see the body language. Here's the putt. The second putt will be one of when I make it. Here's that putt. Do you notice the difference? First one, I miss, I hang my head, I pout and walk away, right? The next one, I throw, I make it, and all of a sudden I'm chest up and I'm running towards the basket and I'm super excited. So yeah, just a recommendation. Try to just have fun with it. Just enjoy. And anyway, I'll leave it at that for now. Thank you for watching this video. Till next time, grip 'em and rip 'em. If you like my content, like and subscribe, and follow me on Instagram. You're awesome.